rocking and rolling. So on the agenda today, this is a follow-up to what we did 2 weeks ago. I'm going to be going back through some of the notes that we talked about, and we're going to be drilling in a little bit deeper into some best practices today. So this is going to be getting into the lead to prospect phase 1. We're going to get into the email formula, the AIDAT. So attention, interest, desire, action, and then thank you. We're going to go look into Ubix again, into a customer one-on-one, look at scoring activities from a live prospect, and look at how we would formulate an email to them based on understanding their interest. Then we're going to get into phone qualification and needs analysis. I've got a form all set up that we will walk through. Yvonne will jump on with me, and she'll play the role of a prospect. I will play the role as buyer. From that, we're going to look at the tag menu that's in the system now, and that's been updated a little bit based on some feedback from Marty. And then phase 2, prospect to buyer, we're going to jump into that in a lot of detail 2 weeks from now. So this is going to be really the last training we're going to do on this phase 1 for a little bit of time. Again, going from that online lead to an on-site prospect. Prospect to buyer, we will walk through, and we're going to get into a whole lot of detail from that first meeting to home site reservations, plan deposits, and ultimately closing objection strategies, getting to the buyer, and then ultimately the owner. So let's move forward here. So I'm going to go back to the life cycle stages, the 5 stages that we typically deal with as part of the Ubix system. So everyone begins as a lead, more or less, if they are coming through the website. And for salespeople, just as an FYI, right now, the amount of leads coming into your system through your websites are, I think we've seen maybe the lowest amount might be 40% and the highest amount 80%. So 4 to 8 out of every 10 leads coming in the system now are starting online. It's pretty incredible. Not surprising though, looking at how many people started their research online. So we're going from a lead to a prospect, which we'll be talking about heavily today. And then when we get into March training, we're going to be focusing on the prospect to buyer. Then we'll be talking about the buyer to owner strategies, getting into event management, that sort of thing, getting that referral out of that owner partner. And then, of course, they go right back to a lead again. So if you remember what we talked about last week, how does it work? Well, they start out into the nurturing program automatically. We want to do a personal email call to action, as part of the action plan, and we're going to go through some of that, how you'd formulate that email today. We're going to look at what are they engaged with through the sales funnel, figuring out what their interests are in customer one-on-one, and then we will do, the personal email based on those interests here today. And that call to action could be, for simply to reply to the email, or perhaps you want to put a link in there to schedule a talk with you, which I know some of you are doing right now. Finally, we will get into the phone needs analysis. Figure out, number 1, if they're a viable prospect. Number 2, are they an A or B, and should I set that meeting, that on-site meeting? Okay, so if the email engagement, if you remember, we talked about the formula, AIDAT. We looked at inserting links and images. We've done this in previous training. I'm not going to get into that much detail today. I'm going to focus on more on the content that you would put in that email, and so you would get a response. But a couple of notes for you. Every single email should have a singular call to action. So either click on the link to do something or reply to the email. And my suggestion is when you are first engaging a lead, is to simply ask them to reply to the email. It's the simplest thing they can do. Because remember, the nurturing program is going to have a lot of links. And so they'll be clicking on links, they'll be downloading materials, they'll be getting educated that way. But when you as a salesperson do your initial introductory email, or say initial follow-up email where you've got some data based on what they're interested in, I would suggest just using the reply to this email as a call to action. All right, so then we're going to track engagement, looking at did they open it and did they click through. So let's dig deeper into the formula. AIDAT, our primary thing that we're interested in is their interests, or their hot button. Because in order for us to create desire for them to take action, we have to know what they're interested in. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to jump into NIH Homes, and we're going to look at a live case study here. From the sales funnel, what I did is I pulled out Tracy here, or no, excuse me, who did I pull? Excuse me, I pulled out Adietta. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but this person right here. So I went into her customer one-on-one, just clicked on her name, went on her customer one-on-one, and to figure out where her interests are, I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to go to the scoring activities. This is probably the easiest way to determine interest. As you can see, she was active today. So it looks like she was looking at coming to the model home grand opening, which I think NIH has going on this weekend. But this is all her scoring activity beginning from, it looks like, the middle of January. So she's been in the system, roughly 6 weeks. Potentially a prospect that is ready to be engaged, or at least you should be engaging because she's in the sales funnel. Now, first thing I look at is time spent. This helps me filter things down. So I look for anything where I've got at least 1 minute or more. So I've got 3 areas. One is the design library. Another one over here looks like was a specific home in Spring Meadows. And current available homes, she's been on there for 26 minutes. Possibly she looked at available homes for the entire time. Possibly she walked away from her computer. We just don't know yet. But what I garnered from this is she's interested in potentially 2 things: design, and she wants something available right now because she's looking in the available home section. So if I want to drill in deeper into what these pages look like, remember, all I have to do is click here. I get this pop-up window. This tells me the time of day. Oops, my pop-up window went away. This tells me the time of day that she was on, how long she was on, and as you can see, this is the Enhanced Design Library for NIH right here. You all have something like this. So if I want to scroll through this, I can do that, and this is telling me, 23 seconds, 3 seconds. I want to find, again, something where, okay, so here's 2 minutes and 7 seconds. So this is a specific available home that I have. So now I'm thinking, all right, she could be just, again, looking at more design ideas, or potentially could be somebody that's a transferee buyer. And I'm going to keep going forward. Okay, so here she spent 26 minutes and 10 seconds here, assuming that she probably walked away from her computer at this point, but she ended up on available homes. Now, with that information, I'm going to say, okay, so her interest could be 2 things. One is I could offer to show her perhaps a home that is not on the MLS she doesn't know about. So I could use that to create some interest. Number 2 is I could talk about some designs that maybe are custom designs that we do not have on our website. So what I'm going to focus on is, number 1, a visual. A visual. In other words, it's the reason somebody would come on site is so they can see something they cannot see online. So that's first and foremost. Number 2 is again, I want to create exclusive opportunities. So when you're using this, tell people that, hey, this is not on the MLS, or the home is not completed yet, or it's a custom home, like an open house event that you can only see for 1 day only. The other thing I can do down here, of course, is I can drill into the emails that have been sent. So this is all pretty much automated. There's been no direct email sent by the salesperson for this prospect. The open house emails, it looks like the first 2 she did not open. The last 2 she did open, and she clicked on this one. So it looks like she is potentially interested in coming to my open house too. I would use that as a potential carrot to meet with her. So going back now, I want to go in and from her customer 101, and I want to go ahead and send her an email. So I want to show you a little tool that we have in here. If I click on Add Note, which I believe I already have pulled up, I'm going to get this screen that's going to come up. And so I can go in here, and I could, pick myself as the salesperson. This is something that I'm planning to doing, and I'm going to go ahead and send an email to this person. Now, where it says Load Template, what I can do is I can select AIDAT email formula, which is going to populate now right here. Let me make this larger. And if I'm not used to using this formula, what we did is we added functionality. Oh, I need to. Shoot, let me go back up here. Okay, we have this functionality to include the note text in the email. So I can go ahead and click on that, and then I click on Send Email to the Customer. And what this will allow me to do, it's going to pick a layout here. What this will allow me to do is, oops, I have to go back here. I'm sorry. Let me try doing that one more time. I think I have to keep it as simple text. Yeah. Yeah, you can't use the layout for this one. You have to keep it as simple text. But now, if I make this larger, I've got all the information on here. So I can use this as a guide to put together my email. The attention, interest, desire, action, and thanking them. And then I've got an example for each one. But remember, of course, most important things on attention is to get the first name in the subject line and use curiosity and keep a short subject line. From an interest standpoint, again, I'm going to go back now, and I'll probably would use, say, to see some designs I haven't seen yet. So I'm probably going to use to come to the open house event. If she has not registered, I should check that first. From a desire standpoint, I'm going to use something that creates urgency. So this home is not on the market yet. However, I'm going to be showing it to somebody else in a couple of days. Or this is a one-time only open house event, so if you don't come today, you're not going to be able to see it. And then the action is simply, hey, if you want an invitation, just reply, and I'll be happy to get one for you. And so reply to the email, like I talked about, that's the simplest thing to do. And then, of course, once she does reply to the email, I would schedule an appointment with her saying, hey, let's spend 10 minutes talking about what you're looking for, and I can make sure that this is a good house for you to take a look at. And attempt to get her on the phone. If I can't, I'll just try to meet her on site. So that is available for you there. Now, this is not something you're going to do each time. It's something that is there for you to help you get this format down. And what I mentioned to someone else the other day is that probably about 250 characters would be your ideal size email. Keep it short. You got to remember that we are a society with a Twitter attention span. 140 characters or less. So you got to keep it short. Don't go into too much detail. Very clear, singular call to action. All right, I am going to, and remember, if you do decide to use your HTML layout like I did here, you're going to lose that particular content on there. So you'd have to use the simple text version, not the HTML version for that email. All right, so if you have any questions on that, let me know. But that's just your ability to use that formula to get yourself going until you're confident and competent using it going forward. Now, this is what my potential email might look like. Okay, so I'm not going to put the company acronym on here unless I'm doing a e-announcement or a group email. If I'm doing an individual email, I'm just going to go right to first name. So I would put her first name in there. Would something like this help? Are you interested? ? But something that would create curiosity and just short. Oops, excuse me. Maybe make this larger. Okay, so interest. So one of our most popular home designs, the blank is under construction, spring neighborhoods, this will be completed. Desire. Okay, I create urgency with this and desire. It's not open to the public. I'm going to show it to a few people this Saturday. I've also got information on her Spring Meadows home sites. Again, if she was spending a lot of time in locations, I would include this information, but she's really not. So what I'm going to focus on first and foremost is going to be design. So I probably won't even go into locations with this. But the desire is, would you like to stop by and see this home? Action. Reply to the email. We'll coordinate a time. Or I could use a desire. Would you like to see this open house? If so, just reply to the email. I'll get you an invitation. And then simple. Thank you. Look forward to talking. And your signature line. Of course, from here, if she does reply, then I'm going to suggest, hey, to make the most of your time, when is a good time I could spend 10 minutes finding a little bit more about your situation on the phone, and I can make sure that this is something that will be worthwhile to you. Remember, it's always a what's in it for me. Get her on the phone, and then we're going to move into the phone qualification next, and which is right here. So put any questions in there that you have on that part. Otherwise, we're going to move on to phone right now. 7 things you want to find out on the phone. So these 7 things I have on the screen here. And most importantly is probably the hot buttons. Because remember, once I have the hot buttons, then I'm able to customize my presentation and my sales process moving forward. Until I have the hot buttons, I am more or less shooting in the dark. So we have what's called a lead intake sheet. We have one for home builders and one for remodelers. So what I'm gonna do today with Yvonne is going to be for home builders. All right, Yvonne, I'm going to unmute you. Good morning.
Good morning.
You are live as we say. So, first of all, Yvonne, are you using this sheet right now?
I use something similar to that, yes.
Okay, so something similar to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through this process, and then after we do this, I'm going to go through and I'm going to open up the tagging system in Ubix. There's been some updates on there, but for all of you that don't know what that looks like, this is the tagging system right here. And you'll see that all the information on this page corresponds to everything in Ubix. So if you have the ability, where you have your computer open, and you have your, this person pulled up right now, I can simply just go into maintain a customer, and I just open up her tags right here. And I can fill this information in as I go through it. The sheet that I put together here does give you some scripts, and it does, it's in a specific flow, so you are getting the most important information first as you move forward. So Yvonne, I will be the salesperson. You can be the buyer. I will read this part, and you can read the guest part, and then we'll get into the sheet. So,
can I ask one question before we start?
Sure.
Is there any way on the tags that you can go ahead and put if they are working with a realtor?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to show you all how to customize tags
Okay.
today. So, and we should have that in the tags right now, but if we don't, we'll go ahead and add it.
Okay. Thank you.
So hi, I'm Rick from Morningstar Builders.
Hi, I'm Yvonne.
Hi Yvonne, it's a pleasure to meet you. A beautiful day in Houston again, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It sounds like you're looking for some information about home building today, is that right?
That is correct.
Well, great. Well, I'll be happy to share some ideas and get you the information you're looking for. Do you have about 10 minutes to talk about your project?
I think I do, yes.
Okay. Well, fantastic. So in that amount of time, what I'd like to do, Yvonne, is I'd like to learn as much as I can about what you're looking for. And can I ask you just a few questions to help me do that?
Sure.
Okay, great. And so now if I don't have her contact information, I will get it. But if she started as a lead, I'm going to have at least her name and an email, right? And I'm going to have a phone number at this point because I had to call her, either that or she called me. So Yvonne, the number that I'm calling you at, in case we get disconnected, is this the best number for me to reconnect with you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I'm just curious, how did you find out about us?
I was looking on the web as far as trying to figure out where I wanted to build and who I wanted to build with, and your name popped up on the front page of Google.
Oh, okay. Great. So you found us from Google. Fantastic. Well, is there a certain style of home that you're considering?
A single-story Tuscan style.
Okay, so a ranch home, single story. Okay, fantastic. And do you have an idea of what you would like to have for bedrooms and bathrooms right now?
Probably 3 bedrooms and 3 baths.
3 and 3. Okay, great. And Yvonne, for a location, have you been able to secure a home site yet, or are you still looking for one?
I have secured a home site in Leland Shores.
I'm sorry, where was it?
Leland Shores.
Leland Shores. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, Yvonne, I'm curious, do you live in the Houston area right now?
Yes, I do.
You do, okay. And as far as making this move, is this something that you're doing for just to have a larger home, or are you changing employment, or what's the primary reason that you like to build a home?
Empty nester. Kids have moved out, and so we need a different way to live in a house.
Well, congratulations. You have reached nirvana, right? The kids are moving on.
Yes.
So have you built a home before?
One time, but it was about 20 years ago.
Okay, long time ago. And do you remember what that experience was like? Was it good, bad, or indifferent?
It was pretty good.
It was, okay. As far as other builders around the area that you're considering, is there anyone else that you're interviewing besides Morningstar?
There are a couple of others that we're looking at, yeah.
Oh, okay, a couple others. And do you mind me asking who those builders are?
Yes, they're Frontier and Jamestown.
Frontier and Jamestown. Okay, great. And those are both really good builders, and I'll be happy to explain a little bit of the differences between us and those two builders, okay?
Okay.
Great. Now, Yvonne, are you, it sounds like since you purchased your home site, you're probably only considering building a new home and not buying a used home. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have an idea as far as your timeline of when you would like to move into your new home?
By Thanksgiving,
By Thanksgiving of this year.
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll have to talk soon. Okay. Now, from an investment amount for your new home, have you put together a budget yet?
Yes.
Okay. And will you be paying cash or financing?
Financing,
Okay. And have you had the opportunity to speak with a lender yet?
yes. I'm working with Trustmark Bank.
Okay. Great. Wonderful. And is there a particular loan officer at Trustmark that you're talking to?
Yes, Philip Brace.
Philip Brace. Great. Do you happen to know his phone number off the top of your head?
No, but his email is pbrace@trustmarkbank.com.
Okay. Great. Got it. And if and when we need to get some information to him for your home, I'll be able to have his contact information. Now, Yvonne, for the Ranch and Ramblers that we build, they typically run somewhere between 350 and 700 without land. And I'm just guessing here, Yvonne. You're gonna obviously would have information here, but 350 to 700 without land, depending on the amenities and square footage and things that you desire. Does that fit into your investment range?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. And will you be selling your current home before you begin building?
We've already sold it, and we're living in an apartment right now.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. Well, then you guys are really ready to go. And how many people will be enjoying your new home, Yvonne?
My husband and I, and occasionally a college student.
Occasionally a college student. Okay, so so you have one child that'll be kind of coming and going.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Right.
And Yvonne, are you working with a realtor for this build?
This one, no.
You're not. Okay.
No.
And it sounds like, how long have you been planning this project?
About 9 months.
About 9 months. Okay. So
Yeah.
you've got it. And do you have some floor plans and things that you found that you're interested in working with?
Yes, I've been on House, and I've found a couple of things that I liked.
Fantastic. Well, Yvonne, it sounds like we would be a very good fit for you. And what I would suggest is I'd like to set up a time to meet with you and your husband, take a look at your home site that you have and also some of your ideas for home building. And then I'd like to explain a little bit more about the home building process. So as you're interviewing us along with Frontier and what was the other one that you're talking
Jamestown.
to? Jamestown. So you're talking to them, that you would be able to get a pretty clear understanding of what the differences are between each company so you can make a well-informed choice with the builder partner you move forward with. I have some time this Wednesday or this Saturday. Is there which one of those days would work better for you?
What time? Do you have Wednesday afternoon?
I can do Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, I've got some time around 4. How does that look for you?
That would be great.
Okay, great. And then let me get a couple more pieces of information from you, and then I will give you the meeting location that we will get together. And so what I would do now is get your address because I don't have it yet, and I would go ahead and fill out these notes here. So very nice, Yvonne. Thank you. You are. I think I would call you an A. Yeah, we're sold. Financing's approved. We have our lot. We've been looking for 9 months. We're living in an apartment and want to be in by Thanksgiving. Okay, let's get on the horse to do it. Thank you for being such a nice, easy prospect.
Certainly.
All right. Okay, so I would take that information now, and I'm going to transfer it into Ubix. I'm going to put it in my tag area. So here is my customer again. I've gone into maintain customers, and here are my tags. Now there's a couple of things that are new on here you guys have not seen yet. One of which is you're seeing all these blacked out we call web surveys. And so this is where you are able to see how they came into the system. Now the reason that these are blacked out right here is because the system is going to automatically populate these, and I will show you where that happens right now. And Runa, I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Hi, Runa.
Hello there.
Hello there. And then we're going to go ahead and start filling in this information here. So we know from an advertising source, how did she find us? She found us from the internet. So I would go ahead and click on that here. Locations, you would have your locations in here. Otherwise, I can add an offsite if you don't have them here. Price range, we know they're going to be somewhere, I think I said between 350 and 700, so I can check all of these. And what I'll do is I'll narrow down their price range once I meet with them. But I don't need to get that specific yet. I just need to know that they will fit into where our parameters are for building homes. Okay, so when do they want to start? They're ready to go. I mean, they want to be in by Thanksgiving, so we got to move on this sucker. Primary reason for moving is they are, well, it sounds like they're downsizing, right? So because they're empty nesters. And they're interested in here pretty much just building. They have talked to a lender. They want to be in a 1 level. Okay, they want 3 bedrooms. And home site preference they already have, so I'm just going to probably put unknown for that because I haven't gone out and see it yet. But if they don't have a home site, I'm going to go through and figure out exactly what they're looking for in case I need to try to find one for them. They do not need to sell their home, right, because she was already in there. And is the current home on the market? Nope, it is not. And amount of time looking, she's been looking for more than 5 months. So the longer they've been looking, the better off they are. Now, Yvonne mentioned a couple of things. She says, hey, can we put a section in here for adding for realtors? You guys are all able to edit your own tags. So what you're going to do on this tag menu is click on Maintain Tags, and you'll see all these different categories. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now actually for NIH is I'm going to add a tag category, and we're going to call this Realtors. And as far as a category for the following stages, I'm just going to use this for prospects and buyers. Because as a lead, I don't really care yet. I haven't talked to them. Once I convert that lead to a prospect, I want to know if they have a realtor. And obviously, if they're in the buyer phase, if I'm in the fulfillment stage, they want to be a realtor too. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Oops, Runa, why did I get that error message? You know?
I think this is where we bring Darius in. So it could be that realtor already was in there. And so let's scan through and see if we can find realtor. No, I can't see it there. Okay. So I will message Darius.
Okay.
And,
we will find out. That should have been saved as a new category.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I suggest that you all add is under advertising source. See where I added here, livability at a glance quiz? Right there. So when you get livability glance quizzes, they come in via email and you have to manually put them in. So it'd be good to track how many people are coming in if that's where they came in, because they won't be done automatically because this is a third-party vendor. So I can go into maintain tags again. Let's see if I have my notes here. And I'm going to pick up advertising source because that's where I want to put this. And then I can go in here and I can add a tag. And you see what I did? I already put this in. LAG quiz, livability at a glance. So I can add a tag, and I just type in again, livability at a glance, livability at a glance quiz, and sequence. I put it wherever I want it. Let me move this up. So in this case, I put it right underneath internet. So Yvonne said she found us on Google. Okay, so I would click internet, and then if she had taken a livability at a glance quiz, I would click that as I put it in. So I would just go, we have 60 and 70. I put it in as 65 here. So you all can edit your own tags, and we will find out why we weren't able to save that new tag category for realtors. But Adriana, would you also make a note as far as adding that category for everybody? Realtor, and it would probably just be yes, no.
And Darius should be joining us, by the way. So.
Okay. Now, I'm going to jump out of this, and I'm going to go back into the system. Now, as you notice, I'm back on Customer 101, and you notice here I've got this category and tag. And so this is now going to display automatically. So the more things that she would have done from either a survey situation or tags, they will automatically show up here. I don't have to do a drop-down menu. So I already know that she came in through the contact page, and she's been on my website. Before that, and you can see here's the contact survey right here. So I can go down here and look at this survey, click right here to see what she filled out. Search for a new home with the following basic needs, blah, blah, blah. One bedroom, main floor, living room, informal dining room, basement, Plymouth or Maple Grove, budget $550. Well, this is nice. She's giving us everything. Move in the spring. Yes.
Darius is in. Can you show him the error message and he can work on it?
Yep. So you can see now this is where I find the information. So if you go back and look at this, okay, so Jeremy assigned this to Aaron on January 18th. Now, Aaron, as far as I can tell, has not followed up with this person yet. He may have done it outside of the system, but as an owner-manager, my concern would be is I see a follow-up note that's over, almost 6 weeks old, and I see no follow-up done, or this has not been completed. Okay, so I will look for Darius here, and I will unmute him. Okay, Darius, I have unmuted you. So Darius, I went into maintain a customer. I went into the tags and maintain tags, and what I was trying to do was add a tag category. And I wanted this for prospect and buyer phases. And I went to hit save, and this is the error message.
Well, the error message says that the realtor already exists as a question, not necessarily as a tag. So,
okay, where did I miss it? Let me just get out of this. So I'm looking for it. Locations, price range.
No, it doesn't mean that it's displayed in here. It's,
I see.
In a survey, for example. But I understand now what's the issue.
Yeah, so
if you are renaming it, will work.
Okay, so if I say something like working with a realtor, or
yes,
or buyer or realtor contract or something like that.
Yes, will work.
Let's see if this does it. Same thing. So we don't have to solve it today, Darius, but take a look at it and figure out. I think what everyone would like to have is the ability to check on here if somebody is working with a realtor, because that's part of the needs analysis that we're going through.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so let's jump back out. Go here. So I went through those areas now of qualifying. I go ahead, I can put them into the tag system. Now, here's part 2 of working on the phone. You're doing phone follow-up, and you got to leave a voicemail or a phone script. You can use the same AIDAT formula that I did for email with the phone. And if you're leaving a voicemail or calling someone quick on the phone, I always ask them for time. Now, here's the interesting thing about time. If you call somebody and they weren't expecting your phone call when you're following up, and you say, hey, it's Rick from ABC Builders, do you have 5 minutes to chat? Most likely if you tell them 5 minutes, they're going to be like, no, I don't right now. So they're going to give you the Heisman. However, when you're calling them up and if you say, hey, do you have 1 minute? Most often than not, they say, oh, yeah, I got a minute. Or they might say, I got 30 seconds. And then I can quickly go through this information here. So do you got 1 minute? Do you have 10 minutes? I asked Yvonne and she had 10 minutes because I wanted to go through my full needs analysis. But you have 1 minute. And I go into the interest again. Hey, we have a one-time only custom open house that we're going to be showing this Saturday for interest, desire. This home is loaded with unique features that you do not see in our model homes, and it's only open for 3 hours this Saturday. Action. Would you like an invitation? Right? Singular call to action. Would you like me to send you an invitation? Yeah, I would. Okay. Well, I'll mail you a postcard, and I will send you an email. What's the best address to mail to? What's the email address I should send to? Or if you already have it, you confirm that. Hey, thank them for their time and look forward to seeing you on boom, on this such and such a day. So I can use that same script if I'm going to leave a message. So instead of asking them if they have time, I get to their voicemail and say, hey, by the way, we've got a one-time only open house happening this Saturday. It's loaded with features you will not see in our model homes. It's only open one day for a few hours this Saturday. Would you like me to send you an invitation? Simply call me back at this number, or I will send you an email as well, and you can just reply to that email if you want an invitation. Hey, hope you can make it. Look forward to seeing you. Goodbye. That took me, roughly about 30 seconds to leave that voicemail. So even though you don't get credit for leaving voicemails, if you leave them in a specific fashion, just by following this formula, more often than not, you're gonna get replied to. And notice what else I did. I gave them an option. If you don't want to call me back, go ahead and email me back. I'll send you an email and a voicemail. So every time you leave a voicemail, it should go with a corresponding email or text message. Text message works great too. In fact, text message has about an 85% open rate in 1 hour from sending it. So if you know you got somebody's cell phone, shoot them a text. Be better than a voicemail, especially if you have a younger demographic. Who is this? Marty. Okay, so Marty, you mentioned here you had Adriana add each LAG category in our case because I wanted that in case we are able to have a seminar-specific, model home-specific. Okay. Yeah, so from the LAG category, what you're saying is you had a category for storage and convenience, flexible living, entertaining, and de-stressing. And we can certainly do that as well. Because when you get the quiz results back from the LAG quiz, it tells you that the person's primary thing they're looking for is, say, entertaining, and secondary would be distressing or, outdoor living or whatever. So what Marty did is she not only added the LAG quiz, she added those areas that they're interested in. Not a bad idea, Marty. I think that's good information to have because you can use that as a follow-up as part of your sales process when you're looking for specific plans that would be more focused around entertaining or, distressing, that sort of thing. Thank you for that note. Okay, and then of course once I get to that point with Yvonne is, all right, is she viable? Absolutely, she's viable. She's an A prospect. Let's set up the consultation. If I can't get her to commit to a consultation, let's invite her to an event. That's why it's so important you guys have an event going on each and every month. If she can't get to an event, you know what? Let me schedule some time for follow-up. So I knew in this case she was interested in one-level homes. She wanted 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. Her budget was somewhere between $350 and $700. Let me schedule a time to get back with her with, say, some ideas from a design perspective in 2 or 3 days. So I will go ahead and schedule a follow-up phone call and go through some of the information that I have put together with her. Of course, I always hold something back to make sure that she has a reason to come meet with me and come on site. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to open it up for questions right now on anything that I went through on that process, utilizing that email, anything inside of Ubix. And remember, the tagging system is so important that you get those tags customized to the information that you want to have, because the more information you have, the more effective you're going to be with your follow-up, and the more you're going to convert into buyers and ultimately owners. This is what we'll be talking about next month. Runa, any last words of wisdom from you?
Actually, yes.
Of course.
Thanks for asking. So I just want to position that the tagging system is not just the information. We will actually be able to automate communication. So we have in the system what's called a rule engine, and the tags actually would be answers to rules. So, is this, customer such and such, and so on and so forth, and we'll be able to, if you want to send out as an e-announcement, a campaign, whatever, you can be very specific based on the rules, or based on the tags.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is if all the tags I put in here, I think an example would be is either a price range or perhaps a home type. So let's say you got someone interested in a 2-story or 1 level, whatever. You are able then to go in and create a list of people that are interested in 2 stories. And let's say you have a 2-story open house coming up. You then can search for those people, and you can pay extra special attention into making sure that they get invited because they are the ones most likely to come.
Yeah, and we're not quite there yet, but the underlying, I mean, this needs to be done So you can do it down the road a little bit. We can do it today, but you cannot do it. We will have to go to Adriana and set it up, but that's basically part of where we're heading.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from your perspective?
No, can't think of anything.
Okay, I will send out the follow-up of this recording and links to certainly this particular page here. I have one of these for home builders and one for remodelers, the new home greeting and lead script. This is what you do on the phone. And we will see salespeople. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and we're going to get into now the initial consultation process of what do you want to do in that first meeting, accomplish them on that first meeting in order to keep the momentum going and move them from a prospect to a buyer. So thanks for joining here today. Everyone have a great rest of your morning and afternoon. Bye-bye.